Chapter 6271. The Great Sky Divination Array was too magical, so magical that it was hard to believe. Lin Xian thought for a moment and decided to give up. He did not plan to control the Great Sky Divination Array. He was afraid that it would take too much time. However, he did not leave this place. He planned to stay here and cultivate. He would continue to use the Samadhi true fire to increase the power of the 9-yang divine body. In this way, his strength would increase. When he found the immortal token, he could take Zhou Tianshi away. That would be a great harvest. Lin Xian's goal was very clear. Moreover, he knew that he would probably have to face Yu Xian next. He could not do it without strength. Lin Xian told Zhou Tianshi his thoughts. Zhou Tianshi was shocked after hearing that. "You have the immortal flame." Xian nodded. "That's right." He took out the Samadhi true fire. When that terrifying flame appeared, the Dian heavenly cycle formation started to shake rapidly. Behind him, the expressions of the Academy Master, Lan Yingying, and the others changed drastically. What is that? Why is it so terrifying? The Academy Master was dumbfounded. His family had attacked Lin Xian earlier. They were really reckless. If he had not stopped them, it would not have been Lin Xian who was injured, but his family. The powerhouses in his family would have been reduced to ashes. Zhou Tianshi took a deep breath. It really is the power of immortality. I'm really surprised that you found this thing. Young man, I think that you have unlimited hope now. You might be able to find the immortal token. Thank you for your kind words. Senior, can you use the array to control the Samadhi true fire for me? I want to use it to temper my body. Previously, he had spent a month cultivating. However, it was not ideal. No problem. I can help you. Zhou Tianshi nodded repeatedly. After all, he was the one controlling the array this time. Therefore, he could help Lin Xian. Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian was overjoyed. Then, he sat down cross-legged and began to use the power of the Samadhi true fire to temper his right hand. Lin Xian's right hand still could not withstand such a terrifying aura. However, it was at this moment that the stellar circulation formation activated, and the power of the formation shrouded the area. Suddenly, Lin Xian felt the pressure lessen. The 3 true flames seemed to have been separated into many strands. This way, he would be able to absorb it. That's great. Lin Xian began to cultivate like crazy. At the same time, Xiao Bai was still searching for something in the Sword World. He mainly searched the vicinity of the Sun Valley to see if there was anything he could help the Heavenly Cycle Master. After all, the Heavenly Cycle Master was not in a good state right now. It would be best if he could recover some of his strength. Xiao Bai threw out a lot of things from the Sword World. There were even some spirit pills and Spring of Life. However, as soon as these items came out, they were immediately petrified. None of them could be used. The little fellow was so anxious that he stomped his feet. Zhou Tianshi said, "Don't throw things out. These things are useless to me. However, to people like you, it is a treasure. It is better to keep it well in case you need it. You've already helped me. You've helped me find my consciousness and soul. I've already remembered everything, so I can recover on my own." Hearing this, Xiao Bai stopped attacking. He quieted down in the Sword World and fell asleep again. Zhou Tianshi waved his hand. He also used the power of the array to recover. Although he could not recover to his peak, he could at least adjust his condition. Boom, boom, boom. Outside the Great Sky Divination Array, it was extremely calm. However, inside the array, it was violently tumbling. It formed a terrifying aura. In the end, Lan Yingying and the Mansion Ancestor could not bear it at all. The two of them retreated. Outside, the people of the East County were still waiting. The previous battle had caused them to suffer heavy injuries. As they recovered, they looked forward to the situation inside. Finally, on this day, they saw their patriarch come out. These people all rushed up, extremely excited. "Patriarch, you have to avenge us." "Yes, Patriarch, someone dared to sneak attack us." "How despicable." "Patriarch, it might be someone from the Ice family." "Should we fight back?" Countless voices could be heard. The East County Mansion master shook his head and said, "Everyone rest and prepare for the next array competition. During this period of time, I will personally guide you in array formation when I am free." "Really? That's great." Countless people were overjoyed. One had to know that their mansion master had been in the array formation for tens of thousands of years and would not come out at all. Even if they had doubts, they could only think about it themselves. But now it was different. Their mansion master would give them pointers. This way, their strength would increase by leaps and bounds. The East County Mansion began to prepare for the array formation competition. On the other side, the array faction. Yuxian frowned. Yuxian waited for many days and found that the people she sent out still had not come out. This gave her a bad premonition. It seemed that those people had died. Perhaps I should personally explore the Great Sky Divination Array. However, she did not immediately take action. She was waiting for the array formation competition. This competition concerned the fate of the East County Mansion. If the East County Mansion really obtained something from the Great Sky Divination Array during the array formation competition, they would definitely use it. At that time, she would be able to see it clearly. Time flew by quickly. Chapter 62-72. The seventh level of heaven. Countless arrays flashed, connecting the sky and the earth. This was an extremely vast plain. On both sides of the plain, there were many people standing there. The auras of these people were very powerful. Some of them were even great emperors. They seemed to have turned into gods in the world. Countless people looked up to them. That's right, there were countless figures even further away from these two groups of people. However, no one dared to get close. The people in the front were from the Ice family and the East County government. They were the families that were going to participate in the array competition. Further away were the other families and sects in this space, as well as individual cultivators. However, they were not qualified to participate in the competition. They could only watch from afar. The people from the Ice family were all wearing blue robes and armor. The one standing at the front was a tall man. His face was full of majesty, and there was an extremely strong sense of oppression coming from his body. Countless people trembled. It seemed that one look from him could make them kneel down. At this moment, the leader of the Ice family, Hanwu, looked forward and said in a low voice, "What a surprise! I didn't expect the leader of the East County government to come in person." He was indeed surprised. The leader of the East County government had not appeared for tens of thousands of years. This time, he had walked out of the array. Could it be that he had discovered something special when he studied the Dian array? The leader of the East County government smiled and said, "I haven't come out for a long time. This world seems to have forgotten about me. Today, I'm here to tell the world that I'm still alive and will always be at the top." An extremely terrifying aura rushed out of his body. The entire world shook violently. The people in the distance were shocked. Their scalps were numb. Indeed, he had not come out for tens of thousands of years. There were all kinds of rumors. It was said that he had died. However, the East County government did not dare to say it out loud. But now, he had appeared and destroyed all the rumors. There was no point in talking. Let's fight. However, who are you going to send? I heard that the genius of your family, Lan Yingying, is not in a good condition. The leader of the ice family laughed coldly. He looked at the other side again. He looked at Lan Yingying because he had heard that she had a strange disease and would not live for long. Lan Yingying's entire body was hidden in her loose clothes. It was impossible to see the expression on her face. However, his opponent's aura was extremely weak. This caused the people of the Icy Ice family to laugh coldly. The East County clan was finished. A great emperor had died. The genius was sick again. He would definitely lose this battle. However, when they saw that there was a young man beside Lan Yingying, they were stunned. Who is this person? It was very unfamiliar. The person they saw was naturally Lin Xian. Someone said, I heard that he is Lan Yingying's unlucky husband. They didn't care about such a person because he didn't know anything about arrays. After waiting for another incense stick's worth of time, several figures descended from the sky. These figures were even more powerful. They had arrived via a spatial array. Everyone held their breaths. Even the people from the Ice family and the East County government looked serious because the people who had come were from the deployment sect. Lin Xian raised his head and looked into the distance. He squinted his eyes and thought, deployment sect, right? I've finally come into contact with this family. I wonder if Yuxian is here? Soon, he realized that Yuxian was not here. The strongest person here was a great emperor, the Grand Elder of the deployment sect. There were 3 elders behind him. There were also some young disciples. Among them, there was a young man who followed beside him. He was incomparably handsome. This made the people of the Ice family happy because this was a genius of their family. He had been cultivating with the Grand Elder. His array skills must have improved by leaps and bounds. This time, they would definitely win. Go! The Grand Elder waved his hand. The young man beside him bowed respectfully and then flew towards the Ice family. He was not the only one. Behind him, several other young men flew over. Some of them flew towards the Ice family, while others flew towards the East County government. The atmosphere suddenly became lively. The people in the distance were also excited because they knew that the array formation competition was about to begin. The Grand Elder walked out and said in a low voice, "The array formation competition has begun." The entire array formation competition was divided into 3 arenas. The first arena was to crack the array formation. The second arena was to use array formations to attack each other. However, it was a one-on-one battle. The third arena was a group battle. They still used array formations. The people from both sides walked up. Each side sent out 8 people. They faced the first round, which was to crack the array formation. This array formation was proposed by Chief Zheng. The Grand Elder waved his hand, and an array formation enveloped the 16 people below. Suddenly, the people inside felt as if they had been struck by lightning. They roared and began to crack the array formation. Lin Xian did not participate. This time, he was only here to watch the deployment sect. However, only a few elders came, which disappointed him. However, he did not know that something else had come. It was the eye of the array formation. It was floating in the void. However, this array formation was extremely terrifying. This was the array formation of an Earth immortal. It was personally set up by Yuxian With the arrival of the eye of the array formation, Yuxian could see everything clearly through this array formation. What she paid the most attention to was the situation in the East County mansion. While paying attention to the competition, she also kept an eye on the East County mansion lord. The other party had not come out for tens of thousands of years. Now that he had appeared, it seemed that there were indeed some changes in the heaven divination array. However, when she looked at Lin Xian, she was even more shocked. This person's aura was not ordinary. He was an intruder. There was actually an intruder in the East County mansion. Could it be related to the heavenly cycle master? Thinking of this, she could no longer remain calm, because she still had a glimmer of hope, and that was that the longevity fruit really had some secret. However, this secret was very likely related to the intruder. Now that she saw Lin Xian, her face turned cold. In the next moment, she sent a voice transmission and ordered her subordinates to attack Lin Xian. The time of the competition passed very quickly. In the end, the Ice family won. 5 of them broke through the array formation and walked out. As for the East County mansion, there were only 3 people. That's great. The people of the Ice family were overjoyed. This time, as long as they won, they could swallow half of the resources of the East County mansion. In that way, their family would become even more powerful, and they would become the most powerful family besides the Array faction. They were very confident. The next competition is a battle of arrays. We must not be careless. The patriarch said. The young geniuses said, "Don't worry, patriarch. Lan Yingying, who was originally a threat, will not live for long. She is very weak now." The other genius, Lan Lei, was said to have been killed. The East County mansion did not have any more geniuses. Indeed, the great emperors of the Ice family also thought so. Night came. Lin Xian and the others all rested. Countless pavilions and towers formed by the formation on the plains. Lin Xian was alone in one of the pavilions, quietly cultivating his divine body. At this moment, the void behind him broke open, and a blood-red long saber appeared. Then it slashed towards him. And from this void, 4 figures walked out. These 4 people were the top experts who had attacked just now. 2 9 crown kings, 2 great emperors. Such a lineup could indeed kill a great emperor. However, it was a pity that Lin Xian wasn't an ordinary great emperor. When Lin Xian looked at the 2 9 crown kings, a hint of disdain appeared in his eyes. 9 crown kings, how dare you be arrogant in front of me? He flicked his finger, and a sword chi flew out. You're courting death. How dare you underestimate me? The 9 crown king behind was a middle-aged man. He was furious at this moment. Although he was the 9 crown king, the formations on his body were powerful. In an instant, 9 formations appeared on his body. With 3 defensive formations and 6 formations, Lin Fan unleashed his ultimate killing move. Terrifying energy gushed out. This time, they were here on the orders of an Earth Immortal. The formations in their hands were definitely extremely powerful. Sure enough, the 6 killing formations swept across the world, emitting a bell-like sound. Pooh! Lin Xian's sword chi pierced through the 6 formations like a hot knife through butter, and arrived in front of the 3 defensive formations. Then it instantly pierced through. In the next moment, 9 crown king's body trembled. He was dumbfounded. How was this possible? He was actually killed in an instant. As for this person, he merely waved his finger lightly. Boom! 9 crown king's body fell to the ground. His eyes were wide open, filled with unwillingness and despair. The other 3 sucked in a breath of cold air. His sword chi was actually so terrifying. The intelligence was wrong. This wasn't an ordinary great emperor. Could it be that he was a super great emperor? They instantly broke out in cold sweat. At this time, Lin Xian turned around and looked at the other 9 crown king. This 9 crown king was a young girl. Her white robes were spotless, and her exquisite face was filled with endless fear at this moment. Lin Xian moved again. With a flick of his finger, another sword chi shot out. The girl in white didn't dare to take it head on. She quickly dodged. Furthermore, two accumulative points methods appeared beneath her feet, making her speed extremely fast. She wasn't any weaker than a great emperor. One had to admit that authentic formations were really powerful. 9 Crown King with formations could actually fight a great emperor, as expected of a top-tier formation technique. But so what? Lin Xian's sword qi contained the power of an immortal. These formations couldn't be broken at all. Another unstoppable attack, and the girl in white fell to the ground. Another one died. The entire process had only taken 2 seconds. 2 seconds later, only 2 great emperor assassins were left. The 2 great emperor assassins' expressions were extremely ugly. They attacked together. The 2 of them roared furiously. They weren't the 9 Crown King. They were much stronger than the 9 Crown King. In addition to their peerless formations, they didn't believe they couldn't kill him. There was no need to hold back. Just a trace of their soul would be enough. The 2 of them roared angrily and rushed over quickly. The man on the left had the destructive power of thunder. The man on the right had ice that sealed everything. Divine flames burst out from the 2 martial monarchs as 20 formations appeared in their hands, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. Even a super great emperor wouldn't dare fight them, right? In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian didn't leave. Instead, he smiled. He reached out his right hand, the golden right hand, and slapped forward. Great solar, undying palm. This was an emperor-level technique. Lin Xian's golden right hand had been tempered by the 3 true fire. Once it was used, its power was extremely terrifying. Impossible. The 2 great emperors roared in fear. They were really crazy. That was because they saw that the 20 formations that they had created were rapidly breaking apart. Their opponent's golden palm was like the hand of a god. It destroyed everything in its path. What kind of power was this? This was a power they had never seen before. Soon, the palm enveloped the 2 of them. They realized that their bodies had turned into blood mist. You can't kill us. If you kill us, you'll be dead. The person behind us isn't someone you can offend. Let us go, or you'll suffer a fate worse than death. Lin Xian smirked coldly as he held both of their bodies in his hands. He said indifferently, "Did you Xian or send you?" The 2 great emperors' expressions changed. How was this possible? This was a secret. How did he know? The Thunder Great Emperor gritted his teeth. As expected of an intruder, he's really strong. But since you know that an Earth Immortal sent us, you should know the power of a formation immortal. Now, kneel on the ground obediently and wait for us to deal with you. Otherwise, you'll end up like your companions, trapped in the dungeon for all eternity. The Great Elder roared. You guys really joined hands. East Lord, Prefecture Lord, do you want your clan to be wiped out? I'll give you a chance. Join hands with me and suppress this brat. Also, come with me to see the formation immortal. Tell her how you activated the Dian formation. If the Array Immortal is happy, he might even let you enter the Array sect to cultivate. In the face of such words, the East Lord Chief was unmoved. Lin Xian sneered, "You're about to die, and you're still jumping around here. With just you guys? You want to kill me?" The Great Elder roared, "I'll let you see the formation of our Array sect." His strength was not weaker than the East County governor's. Moreover, his formation was definitely stronger than the other parties. In an instant, he rushed out. The formation covered the sky and the earth as it charged forward. As for the Great Elder, he quickly retreated because he wanted to leave the Great Sky Expansion formation. He knew how terrifying this formation was. Boom! In the next moment, the Great Elder stopped. He felt a pair of eyes staring at him. He turned his head abruptly, but he couldn't see anyone. Who was it? Get out here. He roared crazily. This time, it was not only Lin Xian and the East County governor who attacked. It was also the Dian formation. Only the Heavenly Cycle Master could activate it. The other party was also here. However, the Great Elder couldn't see it. The Heavenly Cycle Master attacked and directly controlled the other party. Lin Xian said, "Senior, be careful. There's a soul seal of a righteous immortal inside. Don't touch it." The Heavenly Cycle Master nodded. The Great Sky Expansion Formation surged into the Great Elder's mind and formed another seal. With a plop, the Great Elder knelt in front of him. "Greetings, Master." He spoke quickly. The East County governor was stunned. This was a powerhouse who was not weaker than him. In fact, he was even stronger than him. But at this moment, he actually submitted in an instant. What kind of method was this? He also felt his hair stand on end. At the same time, he was extremely glad. Fortunately, he had joined forces with Lin Xian. That's right. 3 days before the formation competition, Lin Xian opened his eyes and decided to watch the formation competition. At the same time, he had another plan, which was to attack you, Xian. At the very least, he had to get the longevity fruit. He planned to join forces with the Heavenly Cycle Master. As expected, the Heavenly Cycle Master agreed. It was time to end the grudge from back then. At the same time, Lin Xian planned to join forces with the East County governor because he needed the other party to cooperate with him. First, he cured Lan Yingying's illness. In fact, this illness was very simple. It was related to the Heavenly Cycle Master. However, at that time, the Heavenly Cycle Master's soul was not clear, so Lan Yingying would definitely die. Now that the Heavenly Cycle Master had woken up, Lan Yingying's illness was naturally cured. The East County governor was very happy that Lan Yingying's illness was cured. She was the heir of their family. Lin Xian then told him about the Sky Divination Array. Of course, he did not mention the core situation. He also did not mention the grudge between the two land immortals. He only said that Yu Xian would definitely obtain the Sky Divination Array. If they did not join forces this time, the East County governor would definitely die. The East County governor thought about it again and asked Lin Xian. Lin Xian released some more news, which shocked the East County governor. It turned out that there was another land immortal in the Sky Divination Array. He quickly agreed. Then, the previous scene happened. Now, they controlled the Great Elder. The governor asked, "Lin Gongzi, what should we do next?" Lin Xian said, "Everything will continue as usual. You will continue the competition tomorrow. As for me, I will sneak into the Array sect. I want to save my companions first, and then I will attack the Array sect." Attack the Array sect? Even though the Great Elder knew about this idea, he still gasped when he heard it with his own ears. That was a truly colossal existence. It was settled. Lin Xian looked ahead and said, "Senior, I will need your help when the time comes." "No problem." Zhou Tianshi nodded. "However, I can't hurt her." Lin Xian said, "You don't have to hurt her. You just need to restrain her so that she can't move. Leave the rest to me." Lin Xian held the purple gourd tightly. He was ready to use some of his trump cards. Outside, countless people were still nervous. What happened? 2 great emperors had died. The people of the Array sect even planned to force their way in. However, at this moment, the Great Elder walked out again and said, "Is everything all right?" Those 2 great emperors were monsters. They had a grudge with the East County governor before. At this moment, they were killed by the East County governor. It turned out that such a thing had happened. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. The Great Elder returned to his residence and immediately sent a message to the Array immortal. The array, immortal, naturally knew about the death of the two great emperors. She asked, "Did the plan fail?" The great elder said, "Yes, it failed. However, the situation is still under control. Today, I plan to stabilize the East County governor and the intruder first. I will attack tomorrow. This time, I will personally attack. I guarantee that nothing will go wrong." Okay, the array, immortal, nodded. She was very confident in the great elder's strength. As long as it wasn't an earth immortal, no one was a match for the great elder. The next day, the array formation competition continued. The Ice family was full of confidence. They decided to defeat the other party in one go. Chapter 62-75. The battle between the two top formation families had already begun. Everyone cried out in surprise. This battle attracted the attention of most people in the seventh heaven. However, they didn't know that an even more terrifying battle was about to break out. The location of the battle was the Array faction. There was no one guarding the Array faction because their formations were enough to defend against everything. Furthermore, this was an absolute victory. No one dared to come here. But today, a figure had come. Looking at the countless palaces and formations in front of him, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He took out a few talismans. These were all formation talismans. They were given to him by the Grand Celestial Master. These were the formations made by the Grand Celestial Master. With one talisman, Lin Xian's figure was swallowed by the void and disappeared. In addition, he took out another talisman and rushed forward. In an instant, he entered the Array faction like a bolt of lightning. After entering, Lin Xian was still hidden in the void. He began to search for Yi Dao Denier. Soon he found him. He didn't find Yi Dao Denier, but he found the underground palace. According to the dead great emperor, Yi Dao Denier was suppressed in the underground palace. Lin Xian entered the underground palace. This underground palace was like a cage, imprisoning countless powerful beings. These were all people who were against the Array faction. None of them died. They were captured and tortured here. The disciples of the Array faction held sharp blades in their hands and tortured them. They sneered. Now, you know the consequences of going against the Array faction. You will never die. You have to live in despair. Ha 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 ha. They were extremely proud. However, when they saw Yi Dao Denier, they frowned. This person was also a prisoner. However, they couldn't hurt him. That was because his physique was very strong. I'll do it. This time, an old man walked out. He was a super great emperor. He was the elder of the dungeon and was responsible for guarding the dungeon. Now that he was making a move, the disciples of the Array faction were overjoyed. Great, the elder is personally making a move. This kid is dead for sure. No matter how strong he was no match for them. As expected, a super grand emperor ripped through Leaf Dao Denier's defenses. Leaf Dao Denier's golden blood dripped down onto the ground, but he didn't even frown. He said coldly, "My companions will come to save me. At that time, all of you will be dead. Companions, intruders like you are at most super great emperors, but our Array sect has Earth immortals. Forget about your companions. No matter how strong they are no match for an Earth immortal. If he came, he would only be throwing his life away. How laughable! You actually still have such hope. Looks like I'll have to let you experience what despair is." The super great emperor snorted coldly. "If you touch him again, I'll make you wish you were dead." At this moment, a cold voice echoed from the void. Everyone was horrified. Who was it? He wasn't from the Array faction. Leaf Dao Denier was overjoyed. "You're here." He smiled. He knew that Lin Xian would come to save him. That's right. The person who came was indeed Lin Xian. He appeared in the dungeon. His appearance stunned everyone in the dungeon. How did he get here? The old man in front also turned his head abruptly. However, when he saw that Lin Xian was just a great emperor, he laughed. Ha ha ha. Is that what you're hoping for? Just a great emperor. Such a person is just an ant. Let's see how I kill him. Men, suppress him for me. The old man waved his hand, and immediately 7 figures walked out from the surroundings. These 7 figures were extremely terrifying. Some of them were great emperors, and some were not. However, at this moment, they had a peerless array in their hands, and they had the combat strength of a great emperor. How dare you behave so atrociously here? You're dead. These 7 people were all the old man's disciples. They decided to suppress the other party in an instant. The 7 of them rushed over, their hands shining with extremely terrifying light. As for the other disciples, they all sneered, not to mention great emperors. Even super great emperors couldn't be arrogant in front of them. Boom. Facing the attack of the 7 people, Lin Xian continuously attacked. Great solar indestructible palm, the golden right hand, and the power of an immortal erupted together, turning into a peerless light that instantly surged forward. After the explosion, the 7 great emperors were reduced to ashes. They were just ants. Lin Xian retracted his palm and walked forward. How dare you attack my companions? You're all dead. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with piercing, cold-killing intent. A dragon had a reverse scale, and those who touched it would die. Therefore, none of the disciples of the Array faction in the underground palace could escape. How was this possible? They were all dead. He killed 7 great emperors in an instant. Among them, there were 2 real great emperors. The surrounding people were stunned. The disciples of the Array faction were trembling in fear. As for the prisoners, they were trembling with excitement. Ha 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 ha. The Array faction also has such a day? Shut up. The old man in front roared. He was really stunned. The next moment, he gritted his teeth. Kid, go to hell. He was a super great emperor. At this moment, he attacked aggressively. A purple long saber appeared in front of him. Like an overlord, it slashed out, shattering heaven and earth. Not only that, the old man attacked again. He opened his mouth and spat out a bolt of lightning. It was a terrifying bolt of lightning. It broke heaven and earth. 2 ultimate attacks. The other party should be dead, right? Lin Xian's speed suddenly increased. Chapter 6276. This power that came from the ground was really too terrifying, as if it was going to destroy the world. Ordinary disciples of the Array faction didn't even have time to react before they were turned into ashes. How could this be? Those who were still alive had faces full of fear and terror. Even the few emperor-level experts were dumbfounded. Who on earth was this divine being? It was so powerful. Could it be that an Earth immortal had come? But that was impossible. In the 7th heaven, other than their Array immortal, were there any Earth immortals? The Array immortal was also stunned. This power surpassed everything. She waved her hand, and a sword light flew out, splitting heaven and earth. All the void disappeared. Then she saw 2 people. That's right, the dungeon was already in ruins, and only 2 people were still alive. They were Lin Xian and Yi Wudao. It's you. When she saw Lin Xian, she was extremely surprised. She had seen this person through the eye of the Array before and knew that he was an intruder. However, wasn't he still in the Array formation competition? Why was he here? Moreover, the other party had such terrifying power. Damn it, I was tricked. Yuxian Er's expression changed. The figure she saw before was fake. This was the kid's real body. A mere great emperor could actually deceive her. That was impossible. There must be the power of an earth immortal inside. It was the great sky divination array. That old thing really didn't die. You joined forces with Zhou Tianshi. Where is he? Tell him to get out here. Yu Xian shouted coldly, heaven falling and earth shattering. She was really angry. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You are really shameless. Without him, would you be where you are today? Not only did you not show any gratitude, you even tried to kill him. You don't deserve to be human. How dare you be so rude to our righteous immortal? The experts of the Array faction in front were furious. They quickly rushed over. An elder attacked, his body burning with terrifying flames. Another great emperor had a terrifying gale on his body, as if he was the ruler of the wind. In an instant, 5 tornadoes were formed. Some people even used hidden weapons that filled the sky. In short, because of Lin Xian's words, the experts of the Array faction attacked one after another. Lin Xian laughed. He took out the immortal slaying sword and slashed open the sky. The piercingly cold sword light transformed into countless huge dragons that swept in all directions. After coming out, they no longer used their golden right hands. Instead, they used their super powerful sword techniques. Puff, puff, boom. All of the attacks were shattered by the sword chi. What? All of them were destroyed. This was impossible. Seeing how terrifying the other party's strength was, the experts of the Array faction were dumbfounded. One should know that if they were to join forces, they would be able to fight against anything. Even if it were a super emperor, there was no way they could be this strong. But why was the other party so terrifying? With just you guys? Rubbish! Lin Xian sneered and used the heavenly eagle blink to appear in front of an emperor. With a single slash, he split his opponent into 2 halves. Then, he quickly retreated. Another sword strike pierced through another person. In the blink of an eye, the blood of 2 emperors dyed the sky red. Everyone was stunned by this scene. They frantically retreated. Array, Immortal, please take action and suppress this thief. He was indeed a heaven-defying genius, as expected of an intruder from the outside world. But so what? No matter how strong he was no match for him. Yu Xian snorted coldly and stretched out her hand. Her jade-like hand cut through heaven and earth. Even a super great emperor would be slapped to death by this attack. Lin Xian naturally didn't dare to fight against an earth immortal. He quickly retreated and dodged the most fatal attack. However, this palm directly covered the entire sky. It wasn't just the Array faction. The people outside the Array faction also saw it. Heavens, this was the power of an earth immortal. An earth immortal was attacking. The people in the Array formation competition also stopped and turned their heads to look. It was the Array faction. Someone was attacking the Array faction. Who was so reckless? The people of the Ice family were all stunned. The experts of the East Lord Manor were also at a loss. The East County Mansion chief clenched his fists. Lin Gongzi had already begun to move. He secretly circulated his power and waited for the order. Array faction. The huge palm that covered the sky enveloped down. Lin Xian quickly dodged. At the same time, he took out a few Array talismans and threw them out. Those Array talismans erupted with endless power and blocked the palm. However, the palm soon enveloped him again. It was indeed the power of the great sky divination array. However, it was useless. You were no match for it. Prepare to die. A cold and heartless voice sounded. At this most critical moment, a ray of light tore through the air. An array formation descended from the sky and enveloped Yu Xian's palm. With a boom, the two collided, causing heaven and earth to shatter. Yu Xian, Er's palm swept past Lin Xian. Lin Xian was pushed back by this force and spat out blood. However, he smiled. He knew that the heavenly cycle master had come. That's right, the heavenly cycle master had come with the great sky divination array and blocked this attack. Yu Xian was instantly flustered and exasperated. At the same time, her hair stood on end. A crazy light appeared in her eyes. She no longer paid attention to Lin Xian. Instead, she stared at the array formation in the sky. Her voice trembled. "You're not dead. You're really not dead. I knew you wouldn't die so easily." "Why?" The heavenly cycle master's voice came from the array formation in the sky. His voice was laced with pain. "Why do you want to harm me? You're already immortal. Why do you still want to harm me?" The disciples of the array faction were stunned by this scene. They didn't know what was going on. No one dared to speak. Yu Xian's body trembled. Then she looked up to the sky and laughed. "Ha ha ha ha, why?" She laughed until tears came out of her eyes. "Why? Immortal? Am I really immortal? I'm only immortal because I can stay by your side. I don't want this kind of immortality. I don't want to stay by your side. I want to walk out of the seventh heaven. I want to leave Immortal City. I want to go to a wider world. I want to become a god. I want to be the ruler of heaven and earth. You understand?" At this moment, Yu Xian seemed to have gone crazy. The others were scared, silly. Lin Xian was also silent. The heavenly cycle master sighed. "I didn't expect you to be so ambitious. Ambitious? It's all because of you. You have the immortal fruit. Why didn't you give it to me? If you gave me the immortal fruit, I would have become a land immortal. It's all because of you. You didn't give me a way out. So, if you're heartless, don't blame me for being heartless. It was actually because of this reason." The heavenly cycle master laughed bitterly after hearing this. His face was full of bitterness. What a ridiculous reason. Lin Xian also frowned. The next moment, he snorted coldly. "You idiot woman. The immortal fruit wasn't prepared for you at all. The immortal fruit is only for us intruders to live. You want to use it to become a land immortal? What a joke. Stupid. You little ant. How dare you provoke me?" Yu Xian was angry and glared at him. Her eyes turned into a peerless divine sword and shot towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian hid in the sky divination array and dodged this attack. The next moment, he walked out again and said coldly, "Idiot woman, look carefully. What is this?" Then he waved his hand. 31 immortal fruits floated around him. Chapter 6277. How was that possible? How could he have so many immortal fruits? Yu Xian went crazy when she saw that. She knew that Zhou Tianshi only had 11 immortal fruits when he was at his peak. But now he had 31 immortal fruits, which was far more than what Zhou Tianshi had. And he was only a great emperor. What was going on? Why did he have so many immortal fruits? Could it be that she was really wrong? Was this thing useless for cultivation? Lin Xian sneered. "If what you said is true, I can become an earth immortal with the immortal fruits. If I have 31 immortal fruits, won't I become a heavenly god? But I'm only a great emperor now." "You're wrong. Admit your mistake." Lin Xian's cold shout sounded like thunder. Yu Xian was so angry that her whole body trembled. Admit her mistake. What a joke. Even if she was wrong, so what? She could only make the best of it. Let her admit her mistake to Zhou Tianshi and make up with him? What a joke. She had caused Zhou Tianshi to suffer a fate worse than death. How could he let her go? She didn't believe it. Therefore, the only thing she could do now was to kill them all. Everyone, listen to my order. Kill them all. Yu Xian Er's voice resounded throughout the world. The disciples of the Array faction roared and charged over. Yu Xian Er continued, Ice family, kill the people of the East County Mansion. I'll give you all the power of the East County Mansion. In a distant place, the people of the Ice family were having a competition. At this moment, when they heard this, their bodies trembled. Were they going to attack the East County Mansion? While they were hesitating, the East County Mansion Lord roared coldly and suddenly attacked the leader of the Ice family. You're courting death. The leader of the Ice family roared. In that case, I'll destroy the East County Mansion. He charged over, but at this moment, the first elder, who had been acting as the referee, secretly attacked the back of the leader of the Ice family. Boom! The leader of the Ice family was sent flying. He spat out blood, and his body was covered in blood. He was seriously injured. Why? How dare you sneak attack me? He was stunned. Shouldn't the first elder work with him to kill the East County chief? But the great elder shouted coldly, under the master's order, we hunt you down. Kill. The East County chief waved his hand and led his family's forces to charge over. The two top clans were engaged in a great battle. Adding on the fact that the first elder had joined forces to attack, the Frigid Ice clan was now in grave danger. The battle between the Array Masters was even more terrifying. The strength of the Array Masters was truly terrifying. Now that all of them were unleashed, it was definitely a heaven-splitting, earth-shattering event. Leaf Dowdenier was trembling, completely incapable of standing up to this level of power. Lin Xian also let out a furious roar and slashed out with his long sword, sweeping it in all directions. The sword was like a dragon, and tens of thousands of dragon shadows swept across, creating countless cracks in front of him. The array formations that filled the sky were all shattered. Yu Xian Er's expression changed drastically. She didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. He couldn't let this brat be so arrogant anymore. She sent a palm strike towards Lin Xian. At this moment, Heavenly Cycle Master made his move. He activated the Heavenly Divination Formation and charged over to stop Yu Xian Er. He said, it's time to settle some grudges. Old thing, get lost. Yu Xian roared angrily. With her roar, the entire world was shattered. At this moment, she seemed to have turned into a god, and everyone could feel a destructive power. Yu Xian was really angry. She said, you're just a remnant soul. How dare you fight with me? She attacked the Heavenly Divination Formation, causing it to shake nonstop and its light to scatter in all directions. However, it didn't break. Heavenly Cycle Master said, this is the only array formation that you didn't participate in. You don't understand the Heavenly Divination Formation. It was born from heaven and earth, and you can't destroy it. If I can't destroy it, then I'll destroy you. Yu Xian roared. She ignored the others and focused on killing Heavenly Cycle Master. If the Array Master was destroyed, so be it. As long as she was alive, she could start another sect at any time. In the sky, the power of the land immortals collided, destroying the world. Everyone retreated far away. Kill these two intruders. The powerhouses of the Array Master attacked Lin Xian and the others. Soulstorm. The second elder roared, and an array formation instantly enveloped Lin Xian's head. On the other side, the third elder roared, array lock heaven and earth. The endless horizon appeared, trying to suppress Lin Xian. The fourth elder roared, myriad thunder array. Suddenly, tens of thousands of lightning flashed between heaven and earth, and each lightning turned into a thunder dragon sweeping in all directions. This was a destructive power, and it also attacked Lin Xian. The fifth elder raised his hand and struck out a patch of darkness, causing the world to darken so much that one could not even see their own fingers. The sixth elder set up a poison array. Once a great emperor breathed in this poison, he would die instantly. The elders used their peerless array formation, which shocked the world in an instant. The other disciples of the array master were all excited. This time, you're going to die, right? This kid will never be able to withstand it. Our array master is invincible. They were full of confidence. In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian was still not afraid. He laughed and summoned the great dragon sword soul with all his strength, with these array formations of yours. Chapter 6278. Lin Xian swung his sword a few more times, and the power of the great dragon sword soul burst out. Every time, it was as bright as the array formation. However, it surpassed the array formation. Next, the other array formations were also shattered. The few great emperors were dumbfounded. How was this possible? Every array formation was their ultimate technique, and they were completely different from others. They were their life's work, and they had cultivated it for tens of thousands of years. It was terrifying to the extreme. But now, the other party was just one person, and he was able to display the same power as them. Moreover, he easily shattered their array formations, causing them to collapse and despair. Some of the elders even died in this battle. The originally powerful array faction was destroyed after the defeat of the few great emperors. How could the other disciples of the array faction dare to attack? They ran away crazily. Help, array, immortal, help. They could only ask for help from the sky. In the sky, the array immortal was still fighting with the great sky divination array. At this moment, she sensed the situation below, and her face was terrifyingly gloomy. Trash, a bunch of trash. Several great emperors with the array formation of the entire sect couldn't do anything to a young great emperor. How embarrassing. Why are these trash still alive? Boom. She threw a punch at Lin Xian. Lin Xian quickly dodged, but he was sent flying by the punch and vomited blood. That's great. The people of the array faction cheered. Yu Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, no matter how strong the other party was, he couldn't compete with an Earth immortal like her. She would first deal with Zhou Tianshi, then divert her attention to deal with the other party. At that time, she would make the other party suffer a fate worse than death. Senior, I'm almost done acting. You can attack now. Lin Xian transmitted his voice. This time, Lin Xian took the initiative to get injured. He wanted to deceive Yu Xian and make her lower her guard against him. In Yu Xian's eyes, he was just an ant that posed no threat. However, this was part of the plan. Only by attacking unexpectedly could he really hurt Yu Xian. Hearing Lin Xian's voice transmission, Zhou Tianshi nodded. Although he could control the great sky divination array now, he seemed to be evenly matched with Yu Xian. But he knew that with his own strength, he couldn't do anything to Yu Xian. It would be difficult for him to hurt Yu Xian, let alone kill her. At most, he could restrain her. If he was in his peak state, forget it, don't think. Taking a deep breath, the Heavenly Circuit Master formed a seal with his palms. The Heavenly Circuit divination formation changed rapidly and bound Yu Xian. Yu Xian was sealed in a space. She sneered. How much power do you think you can? I was wrong. I beg you to forgive me, okay? Let's start over. When the disciples in the distance heard this, they went crazy. They wanted to die in Yu Xian's place. Even Yi Wudao roared. He felt that his soul was about to split open. He frantically sealed his soul. Lin Xian was also worried. Zhou Tianshi, you have to hold on. This is a femme fatale. Stop pretending. I won't be fooled by you again. Zhou Tianshir's voice was incomparably cold and emotionless. He wouldn't be fooled. When Yuxian saw that her plan had failed, her tears instantly evaporated. Her expression became vicious. If that's the case, let's die together. Then she roared at the sky. The person she hated the most was Lin Xian. That little thing dared to plot against her. She slapped Lin Xian with her palm. Lin Xian's body shattered and turned into a bloody mist. In the next moment, she used all her strength to resist the Samadhi True fire. With a boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The three immortal qi on Yuxian's body blocked the Samadhi True fire. But in the next moment, the immortal qi shattered, and cracks appeared on Yuxian's body. Then, with a boom, she was sent flying. Her body was pierced through and charred black. She fell from the sky to the ground. As for the ground, it was smashed into countless abysses. Boom! The Samadhi True fire in the sky erupted with earth-shattering power. After sending Yuxian flying, it disappeared like a firework. At this moment, the entire array sect was reduced to ashes. The heavenly divination array was blasted away by the power of the flame. The light on it dimmed, and Lin Xian's figure disappeared. Yi Wudao was far away, but he was still beaten until he vomited large mouthfuls of blood. He looked in front of him, which had turned into a chaotic space. His body trembled. What a terrifying flame! It was too terrifying. This power seemed to be even more terrifying than an earth immortal. Yuxian's whereabouts were unknown. But where was Lin Xian? He looked up, but Lin Xian's figure was gone. Chapter 6279. The Samadhi True fire was terrifying, and everything in its path was reduced to ashes. The spell formation master, once the overlord of the seventh heaven, was now gone. As for Lin Xian and Leaf Dao Denier, they were completely flabbergasted. At this moment, Lin Xian was nowhere to be found. Under such circumstances, Lin Xian was unable to resist at all. Could he be dead? She shook her head frantically at the thought. No, this can't be. Lin Xian can't be dead. He's created too many miracles. Back then, so many experts from the Permitha, Heavenly King, had failed to kill him. He must be alive now. Leaf Dao Denier prayed in his heart, but when he looked around, he couldn't see anyone. Leaf Dao Denier was so worried he was about to cry. At this moment, a weak voice came from behind him. Don't worry, I'm not dead yet. Leaf Dao Denier's soul trembled, and he spun around. A moment later, he exclaimed, Great! You're not dead? That's great. That's really great. There was no mistaking it. The figure behind him was Lin Xian. Lin Xian was covered in blood, and his face was as pale as a sheet. But he was still alive, which made Leaf Dao Denier happy. Leaf Dao Denier was shocked. How did you get out? Why didn't I feel anything? Lin Xian said, It's a death substitution talisman. Senior Heavenly Master gave it to me. Yes, it was a death substitution talisman. Before making his move, Lin Xian had planned everything, including how to control the Grand Elder, how to save Leaf Dao Denier, and how to kill Yuxian. The most important thing was to make Yuxian careless, to make her ignore Lin Xian. That would give Lin Xian a chance to succeed. The process was incredibly dangerous. Even if Lin Xian succeeded, Yuxian could easily turn Lin Xian into ashes with a single slap. In order to deal with Yuxian's power, the Heavenly Master had created many spell formations. One of them was a death substitution formation. This was the most important step, and Lin Xian didn't want to die. With this formation, he could carry out his plan with peace of mind. As expected, when Yuxian wanted to kill him, Lin Xian had already activated the array formation. Therefore, he dodged the attack. Senior, we've taken revenge. We've succeeded. Lin Xian looked at the sky and said with a smile. The Heavenly Cycle Master landed with the Heavenly Cycle Divination array floating beside him. At this moment, he seemed to have fused with the entire formation. However, he didn't smile. Instead, there was a hint of sadness. So what if he succeeded? So what if he got his revenge? After all, this was the woman he once loved the most. He didn't feel the joy of revenge. In the end, he sighed. Sighed, damn it! How dare you put me in such a difficult position? All of you deserve to die. At this moment, an intermittent voice was heard. Yu Xian actually floated up from the rubble in front of them. His injuries were very serious. Half of his body was charred black, and there was a bloody hole in his body. His internal organs were gone, and there was not a single part of his body that was intact. However, he was still alive. It couldn't be helped. She was a land immortal. She was too powerful. Her life force was practically immortal. How could this be? He was actually still alive. Yi Wudao was shocked. He was stunned. How terrifying was that attack just now? But the other party actually didn't die. Lin Xian frowned tightly. He didn't die? To be honest, he wasn't surprised. When he obtained the 3 true fire, he knew that the 3 true fire was infinitely powerful. A single 3 true fire could severely injure a land immortal, but it wasn't certain whether it could kill a land immortal. Now, it seemed that it was very difficult for a single 3 true fire to kill a land immortal. But so what? In Yu Xian's current state, she was even worse than the Heavenly Cycle Master. How much strength could she exert? Senior continued to attack and completely suppress her. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He endured the pain in his body and walked over. The great dragon sword soul appeared, and the Rinnegan erupted. Lin Xian wanted to continue fighting. The Heavenly Cycle Master nodded. I can't let you go out and harm others anymore. I'll suppress you. You should reflect on yourself. The Heavenly Cycle Master controlled the formation and rushed over. Suppress me? Dream on. What right do you have? Yu Xian roared. She even wanted to fight back. Although she was severely injured, she could still kill Lin Xian. To be honest, the person she hated the most now was Lin Xian. A little ant had caused her to be severely injured. Not only that, this little ant actually didn't die, and was still alive and kicking. Unforgivable. The immortal energy on her body quickly condensed. She was really miserable. Her immortal energy had already been shattered into pieces. However, its power still surpassed everything. You want to attack me? Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, he took out the purple gourd again. The immortal energy emerged from it. How could this be? Yu Xian was terrified. The other party still had that immortal flame. She turned around and fled at an extremely fast speed. Lin Xian refused to give up. In the end, Yu Xian gritted her teeth and waved her hand. 8 rays of light flew out from her body and flew in all directions. These were 8 longevity fruits. She wanted to use these fruits to lure the other party away. Sure enough, when Lin Xian saw the longevity fruits, he was stunned and stopped for a moment. At this moment, the immortal energy on Yu Xian's body completely burned. In the next moment, it tore open the void and disappeared completely. Damn it, I let her run away. Don't chase. Zhou Tianshi stopped. Lin Xian was stunned. Senior, why? Zhou Tianshi said that you are only a great emperor and can't sense it. Chapter 6280. The Array faction had been reduced to ashes. This news immediately spread throughout the 7th heaven. Everyone was dumbfounded. In their eyes, The Array faction was a supreme overlord. It was the place they yearned for. With an Earth immortal there, it was impossible for it to be destroyed. But now, the Array faction was gone. There was only a ruin. Even though they were separated by an endless distance, they were still able to sense that destructive power. Everyone trembled in fear. Who was it who destroyed the Array faction? Where was the Array immortal? Could it be that he had also died? Heavens, even the Array immortal was defeated. This person's strength was above that of an Earth immortal. Everyone was terrified and desperate. In the Array formation competition, the people of the Ice family were all trembling in fear. The Ice family leader was also kneeling on the ground. Previously, he had been severely injured by the two super great emperors. He was not far from death. However, he could still escape if he wanted to. He did not escape. Instead, he waited for another battle. As long as the Array faction won, the East Lord Mansion would definitely die. However, the result was completely different from what he had imagined. Not only did the Array faction not win, but they were also reduced to ashes. How could this be? Who was behind the East County Mansion? Even the people of the East County Mansion could not believe it. They were absolutely determined to die. After all, offending the Array faction would result in a miserable outcome. However, the current situation was like a dream. Even the Mansion Lord was trembling with excitement. He did it. Lin Gongzi really did it. This time, he had made the right bet. He laughed loudly. Destroy the Ice family. The first elder also roared. He was now Zhou Tianxi's servant. At this moment, he was definitely going crazy. Under the joint efforts of the two of them, the Ice family leader was forced to retreat. The Ice family leader was already scared out of his wits. He did not dare to fight anymore. He turned around and fled. However, he was too seriously injured. In the end, he was killed by the two of them. With the death of the family leader, the Ice family was immediately defeated. A top formation family was destroyed just like that. The leader of the East County was excited. After destroying the Ice family, they would be twice as strong as they were now. Just thinking about it made them excited. Of course, they didn't dare to act rashly. The East County Mansion chief said, "Everyone, listen up. Without my permission, no one is allowed to touch any of the treasures of the Ice family." He wanted to leave it for Lin Xian. He could only take it if Lin Xian gave it to him. Lin Xian didn't give it to him, so he didn't even dare to look at it. After all, Lin Xian had just destroyed the Array sect. If he wanted to destroy the East County Mansion, it would be a piece of cake. Gritting his teeth, he asked, "Other than you, do you have any disciples?" Super great emperors, preferably younger and more powerful. It used to be there, but it's gone now. Yuxian sighed. She was extremely vexed because the entire Array sect had been annihilated. All of her savings and painstaking efforts had been annihilated. "Idiot! Idiot!" The woman in the vortex roared again. Traces of terrifying power even appeared, causing the surrounding sky and earth to shatter. Yuxian, Er's face turned even paler. She was now panicking. Would the other party kill her out of anger? However, the other party still didn't appear, which made her secretly relieved. After a while, the voice in the vortex sounded again. "Give me the information of the intruder you mentioned." Yuxian hurriedly gave Lin Xian's information to the other party, including the unique skills, power, and appearance that he was good at. All of it was transmitted to the purple vortex. Then, the purple vortex disappeared. Yuxian was dumbfounded. Was it over just like that? She had summoned him because she wanted him to help her recover and avenge her. However, the other party didn't do anything. She was like a little kitten that had been abandoned by someone. At this moment, Yuxian became extremely lonely and weak. She was afraid that Lin Xian would come after her, but she was even more afraid that Zhou Tianshi would come. In that case, if she was caught, she would suffer a fate worse than death. She didn't summon the purple vortex again. Instead, she fled to an even more desolate place. She tore open the ground, entered the ground, and began to recover silently. However, with her current state, she wouldn't be able to recover without tens of thousands of years. As for revenge, she was in despair. Lin Xian was an intruder. It was impossible for him to stay here for tens of thousands of years. By the time she recovered and went out, the other party would either be dead or had left. She couldn't even take revenge. This time, she was really miserable. However, she still had a glimmer of hope. That was, the mysterious woman in the purple vortex would make a move. Until now, Yuxian still didn't know who the earth immortal behind her was. Which level of heaven was it? She only knew that the other party was very powerful. Even if she was at her peak, she shouldn't be a match for the other party. This woman had taken away Lin Xian's information, so she should be attacking Lin Xian. This brat would die here sooner or later. Thinking of this, she felt a little happy. However, what followed next was pain and misery. After Yuxian checked her injuries, she found that they were more serious than she had imagined. The immortal fire seemed to have destroyed all the meridians in her body. Damn it! She gritted her teeth, blushed, and began to recover. The 9th level of heaven. This was the last level of heaven, and also the most mysterious level of heaven. It was extremely terrifying, because there were many terrifying existences here. In a purple mountain, there was a figure in purple clothes. It was a woman. At this moment, the purple vortex in front of her slowly disappeared, and a message appeared in her mind. Then she waved her hand, and the endless purple aura condensed into a figure. This figure was young and handsome. His eyes were piercingly cold, and he was in high spirits. If Lin Xian was here and saw this, he would definitely exclaim. The reason for that was because that figure was his figure. The purple-clothed woman was the mysterious land immortal standing behind Yuxian. At this moment, she was still mysterious. Her whole body was surrounded by purple light, and it was impossible to see her face clearly. The mysterious woman in purple looked at the portrait in the sky and snorted coldly. The next moment, she waved her hand and split the figure in half. And you actually ruined my plan of many years. Unforgivable. Someone bring a team of shadow guards to the 7th level of heaven and kill this person. The mysterious woman's voice sounded in the purple mountain. Yes, a respectful voice came from outside the purple mountain. Then, a figure in purple armor quickly left. He was going to bring a team of shadow guards to the 7th level of heaven. Crossing the heavens and earth was a very dangerous thing. However, at this moment, the master had given the order, and she had to obey. Moreover, with the master's means, they could definitely cross the heavens and earth. The woman in purple had a cold expression. This time, the shadow guards would not be able to come back. She could send them over, but these people would not be able to return to the 9th level of heaven. However, she didn't care. These were all her servants, and she didn't care about their lives at all. This was only the first thing, killing a little ant to relieve the hatred in her heart. Next, there were more important things. That was what she had been planning for a long time. He said, I did meet an intruder before. He had the immortal flame. He even threatened me. However, that flame couldn't kill me. Furthermore, he didn't dare to use it carelessly. After using it, he wouldn't be able to defend himself against any danger in the future. Therefore, in my opinion, he should only be intimidating the land immortals. However, I did not expect this kid to use this kind of flame at the seventh heaven. It's too late to say anything now. Yu Xian has already failed. She won't be able to recover for tens of thousands of years. What happens next will happen within 3 months. Therefore, we don't have time. As for that kid, I've already sent a secret guard to kill him. What we're discussing now is the 8th heaven. Will the dream god go? Not necessarily. Therefore, he's not much of a threat to us. The other few heavens are the 3 demonic beast brothers. They're the biggest threat. We have to find a way to resolve them. It's not easy. However, I'll try. The two didn't talk for long before the purple vortex disappeared, because this was a conversation that crossed several heavens. If it was other Earth immortals, they might not be able to do it. After the vortex disappeared, Purple Immortal took a deep breath. His expression was solemn. This kid really deserves to die. He actually ruined his sister's plan. However, he should be dead for sure. The secret guard should be able to kill him. Even if they can't kill him, that kid should go to the 8th heaven. At that time, I'll personally kill him. That's right. Purple Immortal knew that Lin Xian would also go to the 8th heaven. And this time, their goal was also the 8th heaven. Lin Xian didn't know about these Earth immortals. At this moment, he was still silently cultivating. He had already begun to prepare to temper his left hand. However, the progress was very slow. After all, the last time he tempered his right hand, he succeeded very quickly. This was because he had triggered the power of time in the Great Sky Divination Formation. The probability of triggering this power was very small. So far, he hadn't succeeded, and Heavenly Cycle Master had already made 4 formations for him. He was making the 5th one. After another half a month, the 5th formation was completed. Heavenly Cycle Master didn't take any action. He gave the 5 formations to Lin Xian. Next, you'll encounter a lot of danger. Use these 5 formations sparingly. I originally wanted to make a few more, but there's no more time. These 5 formations didn't have any offensive formations. They were all used for defense and escape. After Lin Xian received them, he looked at them. Indeed, there were 2 defensive formations and 3 escape formations. However, it really suited him. After all, he didn't have much 3 true fire left. There were still 2 levels left. What other dangers were there? Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian carefully put away the formation. Then he asked, Senior, you said that there's not much time left. What's going on? Could it be that you haven't recovered yet? Can I help you? Heavenly Cycle Master shook his head. Don't worry, I won't die. When I said there's not much time left, I was referring to you. You're going to leave the 7th heaven in a few days. I can feel it. Lin Xian was surprised. He could feel it. However, the other party was a Heavenly Cycle Master. Perhaps he could really feel the different power of heaven and earth. Lin Xian took a deep breath and looked at Yi Wudao again. Yi Wudao said, I'm afraid I won't be able to help you next. Because I'm already struggling in the 7th heaven, I don't plan to move forward. I can't be a burden to you. And this time, I've obtained so many resources and treasures. I want to cultivate here. Okay, Lin Xian nodded. Indeed, if he hadn't come this time, Yi Wudao would have been in danger. He just didn't know how the Red Fish Emperor was doing. It seemed that he had to ask Heavenly Cycle Master for help to investigate. After all, he was in charge of the 7th heaven now. Zhou Tianshi probed for a moment and said, I can sense this friend of yours. He's not dead. Moreover, he's trying to crack the formation and enter the 8th heaven. However, there's not much hope. from the seventh heaven to the eighth heaven, one had to pass through a formation. It was a very terrifying formation of heaven and earth. Even a super great emperor might not be able to pass through it. Chapter 62:83. Hearing that the Red Fish Emperor was not in danger, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Next, he learned more about this array formation. If he wanted to enter the eighth heaven, he would also use this array formation. The heavenly cycle master could not help him with this array formation because he could only enter the eighth heaven with his own strength. Next, Lin Xian prepared to leave. However, he also made some arrangements for this battlefield. He planned to shift the blame of this battle to the giant elephant. Previously, the giant elephant had murderous intent towards him, which made Lin Xian very unhappy. And now, he had an extreme weapon, which was the giant elephants. He made some arrangements so that this extreme weapon would be broken in the ruins of the Array faction. Even if the other party did not believe it, they should have some suspicions. Lin Xian began to set up traps again. In fact, he also wanted to shift the blame to Purple Fairy. After all, she had tricked him once during the teleportation process. However, he did not have Purple Fairy's weapon, so he could only give up this time. Just as Lin Xian was setting up the traps, a crack flashed in the seventh heaven. Then, a few figures appeared in the seventh heaven. As soon as they appeared, there was a terrifying force that wanted to swallow them up. However, soon after, a purple vortex appeared beside them and blocked all of this. Great, we have successfully arrived at the seventh heaven. The leader waved his hand, and the figures quickly left. There were a total of 5 people. These 5 people were wearing black armor. They were secret guards. They were sent by the mysterious woman in purple in the ninth heaven. They only had one goal, and that was to kill Lin Xian. Lin Xian did not know about the appearance of these people, but the heavenly cycle master was aware. He could clearly sense the changes in the seventh heaven. He said, "Someone is coming, and they have a strong murderous intent. It should be the expert behind Yu Xian, who had made his move." As soon as this was said, Lin Xian also took a deep breath. Will the land immortals come? He did not have much Samadhi true fire left. Was there going to be another great battle? The heavenly cycle master said, "No, there is no land immortal power." Moreover, land immortals could not casually cross heaven and earth. Even if they really wanted to come, they would have to pay a price. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that it was not an earth immortal. In this way, he was not that afraid. He began to conserve his energy and adjust his condition to its peak. At the same time, he took out the immortal slaying sword and held it in his hand, ready to fight at any time. The dark guards in the void flew quickly in search of Lin Xian. Soon, they arrived at the Array sect, which was already in ruins. The eyes of the 5 shadow guards flashed as they stared at Lin Xian. "It's him. Kill him." The 5 of them were hidden in the void. In an instant, an earth-shattering killing intent erupted. Heaven and earth were once again torn apart, and the 5 of them instantly arrived around Lin Xian. How terrifying! Leaf Dao Denier opened his eyes and cried out in alarm. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. "You're here?" He gripped the immortal slaying sword tightly. The aura here erupted, engulfing everything. Even the people from the East County mansion in the distance could feel it. The academy master raised his head and looked into the distance. What happened in the ruins of the Array faction? What a terrifying killing intent. There was a peerless killer. Lan Yingying was worried. Are Lin Gongzi and the others okay? Boom. Suddenly, at this moment, the world changed. All the powerhouses in the East County mansion knelt on the ground in fear. Even the Academy Master's body trembled. He felt an even more terrifying force erupting, as if it was going to destroy everything. The entire place where the Array faction was located was completely enveloped by this light. That's right, the place where the Array faction was located instantly turned pitch black, as if black clouds were pressing down on the city. Lin Xian, Leaf Dao Denier, and the others were all facing a great enemy. This power was completely beyond their expectations. Even Lin Xian was a little confused. Didn't they say that there was no power of an Earth immortal? Why was this power so terrifying? With a boom, their sword energy surged into the sky. Zhou Tianshi stood motionless in the Array formation. His figure appeared, and his gaze was extremely deep. In the void, the 5 figures in black armor were not counted. They were the 5 shadow guards. At this moment, their bodies were stained with blood, and their faces were filled with horror as they looked up at the sky. Was this the attack of an Earth immortal? Who are you? Are you the Zhou Tianshi? From back then? One of the shadow guards roared. As soon as these words came out, Lin Xian was even more stunned. What was going on? These people didn't know the Hand of the Heavens. What was this Hand of the Heavens? There was no response. The big hand in the sky fell directly and enveloped the 5 shadow guards. Counterattack! The 5 shadow guards roared. They used their terrifying killing moves while fleeing into the distance. However, it was useless. With a light slap of the palm, the 5 shadow guards were reduced to ashes. Among them, there were 2 super great emperors. However, they died instantly. What kind of power was this? It was unimaginable. Lin Xian was facing a great enemy. In an instant, he took out the purple gourd. The aura of the 3 true fires spread out. Zhou Tianshi said, "Don't act rashly. He's not an enemy." What? Lin Xian was stunned. Not an enemy? He looked forward carefully, and then he was even more shocked. He was so nervous just now that he didn't investigate carefully. Now, when he looked at it with his Rinnegan, he took a breath of cold air. The mysterious aura of this big hand of the heavens was somewhat similar to that of the 3 true fire. They were both immortal powers. Could this thing have something to do with the immortal city? Lin Xian was very curious. At the same time, the tension in his heart disappeared. At this time, a low voice came from the big hand of the heavens. "Intruder, congratulations. You've managed to collect more than 35 longevity fruits at the 7th layer of heaven. You have successfully summoned me." Lin Xian had 28 fruits before, plus 11 fruits in the 7th heaven. Now he had 39. This number was completely beyond imagination. To be honest, even Lin Xian didn't think about it before. Lin Xian felt that it was already very heaven-defying to get half of the fruits in the divine realm. But now, except for the first fruit in the 1st heaven, he didn't get any. The remaining few heavens were all with him, and Higgins' number was 0. Higgin would probably go crazy. That's right, the remaining people of Higgin were indeed crazy. They had never encountered such a situation. Lin Xian was pleasantly surprised. This immortal hand was actually summoned. He clasped his fist and said, "Senior, what advice do you have?" The other party came out. There must be some benefits. Maybe there was a special mission to be able to get the next longevity fruit, or even to get the information of the immortal token. Thinking of this, Lin Xian was extremely excited. "Intruder, now you have 2 choices. First, I can directly break the heaven and earth and send you to the 9th heaven. There are the last 9 longevity fruits there." Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. Now, the entire immortal city only had 9 longevity fruits left, but he didn't expect that they were all in the 9th heaven. It seemed that there was nothing in the 8th heaven under normal circumstances. he would go to the 8th heaven first, and then he could enter the 9th heaven. This way, he would waste a lot of time, and more importantly, there would be countless dangers. But now, there was a chance for him to directly enter the 9th heaven. It was really great. It's better to let him attack the immortal realm and obtain the immortal token than to let the other Earth immortals get it. The immortal hand was silent, but it was obviously a tacit agreement. Lin Xian asked, "Senior, what's going on?" The Heavenly Cycle Master said, "What will happen next in the 8th level of heaven is to attack the immortal realm." It was a gathering held by the Earth immortals of the other levels of heaven in order to leave the immortal city. They would join forces to search for clues about the immortal token, because if they obtained the immortal token, they would be able to leave Bushio City. Although the Earth immortals were the guardians here, they could sweep through heaven and earth. However, every Earth immortal had their own reasons to guard this place. Some were forced to stay here, while others were threatened and suppressed here. Hearing this, Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. Yi Wudao was also stunned. Who was the one who threatened and suppressed the Earth immortals? How much power did he have to possess? Could it be the master of the immortal city? How terrifying was the other party? He didn't dare to imagine. There were many secrets in the immortal city. However, it's not the time for you to explore. Your strength isn't enough. Even the Earth immortals might not be able to explore the secrets here. However, you can participate in the matter of the 8th level. Lin Xian said, "You mean the Earth immortals of the other levels of heaven will gather in the 8th level of heaven?" His little face was a little dark. He said, "I have some grudges with several Earth immortals. Previously, I could threaten one or two of them. However, if they all appeared together, he couldn't threaten them at all. Would he be slapped to death? This was what he was most worried about." Chapter 6285. Facing an Earth immortal. Lin Xian still dared to challenge him because he had the 3 true fire in his hands and could threaten him. But facing a group of Earth immortals, Lin Xian had no choice. Even his own life was in danger. Zhou Tianshi shook his head. "You don't represent yourself now. You still represent the will of the 7th heaven, so they won't kill you. Of course, they might join forces to suppress you and ostracize you. As for killing you, there was only one possibility, which was after they obtained the immortal token. At that time, they would completely fall out and no longer care about the rules of the immortal city." Understood. Lin Xian nodded. Although it was still very dangerous, he had already decided to go. Lin Xian looked at the immortal hand and said, "Senior, I choose to go to the 8th heaven." Okay. The immortal hand descended and enveloped Lin Xian. Then it flew directly into the sky. With a boom, the 7th heaven shattered and the 8th heaven opened. Lin Xian's figure disappeared. Yi Wudao looked into the distance and said, "Lin Xian, you have to come back alive." The heaven and earth phenomenon here made the people of the 7th heaven kneel and kowtow. The people of the East County were also shocked. Did Lin Xian leave? Was he taken away by a mysterious hand? It was really heaven-defying. Only the people of the 7th heaven knew about this situation. The others didn't know. The intruders of the other heavens were really like ice and fire. To be honest, many people had the heart to die, especially the people of the Nirvana realm. They had all gone crazy, because during this period of time, they kept hearing loud and clear voices resounding between heaven and earth. Someone had obtained the 10th longevity fruit. Someone had obtained the 20th longevity fruit. Someone had obtained the 30th longevity fruit. One after another, the voices made everyone go crazy. Now, the 39th longevity fruit had been obtained by others, but most of the people of the Nirvana realm didn't even see a shadow of the longevity fruit. Nine-tailed fox felt that he had gone crazy. He doubted life. When he was outside, he was a top genius, the disciple of a earth immortal, high and mighty. He could turn a world into ashes with a wave of his hand. But here he felt that his life was incomparably sullen. He was even a little frightened. There were still 9 longevity fruits left. Could he get them? If he couldn't get it, would he die here? When he thought of this possibility, his body began to tremble, and his face turned even paler. However, there was still hope in his heart. Perhaps many of the fruits were obtained by people from the Nirvana realm. Although his speed was also very fast, there were still people walking in front of him. Among them were Great Emperor Xingyao and Great Emperor Songqing. The 2 of them were very fast and had already reached the other few levels of heaven. The strength of these 2 people was not weaker than the 9-tailed fox. Therefore, 9-tailed fox felt that many of the longevity fruits had been obtained by these 2 people, but he had not found them yet. Boom! Finally, the 9-tailed fox arrived at the 5th heaven. He was not searching. He guessed that the longevity fruit of the 5th heaven should have disappeared as well. Hence, he continued his journey towards the 6th heaven. The other intruders also arrived one after another. Some of them had even begun to arrive at the 6th layer of heaven. Unfortunately, the longevity fruit of the 6th layer of heaven was also gone. Even the 7th layer of heaven was gone. These people from the Nirvana realm were destined to be miserable. On the other hand, in the mysterious cave abode of the 2nd layer of heaven, Murong Qingcheng opened her eyes. The phoenix aura on her body was even more terrifying, as if she had turned into an ancient phoenix. She had mastered a new lost art, which made her extremely happy. Her current strength had undergone an earth-shattering change compared to when she had first arrived. However, she still stood up and asked, "Senior, when can I leave?" She hadn't forgotten her mission to come here. "No hurry." A pleasant voice came from the cave abode. Obviously, this mysterious person was very satisfied with Murong Qingcheng's performance. "You have already obtained a longevity fruit. You can live on. Don't worry about your life." Murong Qingcheng shook her head and said, "It's not enough. What about Brother Xian? The other people in the divine realm are also in danger. I want to help them. The Brother Xian you mentioned, is it this young man?" Suddenly, a light flashed in front of the cave abode, forming a young figure. It was Lin Xian's figure. When she saw the portrait, Murong Qingcheng nodded. "Yes, Senior, you know Brother Xian? Could it be that Brother Xian is in danger? I must save him." At this moment, Murong Qingcheng became extremely anxious. The voice laughed again. "So it's him. Then you don't have to worry. This little guy has already gone to the 7th layer of heaven and obtained the longevity fruit of the 7th layer of heaven. He now has 39 longevity fruits on him." "What, 39? Brother Xian is so powerful?" Murong Qingcheng was extremely surprised. "He is indeed very powerful. I have been here for countless years and have seen several groups of intruders. However, he is the only one who has collected so many longevity fruits by himself. Little girl, you can rest assured now. You can continue to cultivate here with peace of mind. When your brother Xian reaches the 9th layer of heaven, I will let you meet up with him." "Really? That's great. Thank you, Senior." Murong Qingcheng was very happy and continued to cultivate the phoenix technique. In the deepest part of the ancient cave abode, the light condensed into the figure of a young girl. "He is the one who opened the demon god's tomb." Upon hearing this, Song Yao was stunned. He was the one who had opened the Fey god's tomb. He naturally knew of such a huge matter because his master and 2 other land immortals had entered the Fey god ancient tomb together. He stayed there for a long time before coming out. However, he never expected that the punk in front of him had opened the Fey god's tomb. I always wondered who that young man was. From the looks of it now, it was only SOSO. Perhaps he was just lucky. Let me see just how strong this kid is. From the looks of it, he wanted to make a move against Lin Xian. The surrounding demonic thearchs were stunned. Then they laughed. Song Yao was much stronger than them. Moreover, as the disciple of an earth immortal, he was definitely terrifying. If he made a move, he might really be able to teach this kid a lesson. Heh! They looked at Lin Xian with pity in their eyes. Song Yao's attacks were very cruel. Those who fought with him would either die or be injured. Song Yao walked out, emitting a terrifying demonic aura. He said in a deep voice, "Kid, show me your true strength and fight with me. You are the nine-headed lion's disciple." Lin Xian looked at him and shook his head slightly. "I'll give you a chance. I won't attack you. Step aside and don't block my way." Lin Xian did not make a move immediately. It was not because he was afraid of him, but because he wanted to give the nine-headed lion some face, because the Golden Lion King was still cultivating beside the nine-headed lion. He was giving the Golden Lion some face. "Are you looking down on me?" Song Yao was furious. The other party was a great emperor. How dare he speak so arrogantly? How dare he look down on him? His face turned gloomy, and a murderous aura quickly spread out from him. "Kid, you have successfully angered me. Now, you will have to suffer my wrath." There was a red flame dancing in his eyes. The few demonic beasts at the side quickly retreated when they saw this scene. They knew that the appearance of the blood-red flame meant that Song Yao was really angry. The consequences would be severe. They laughed out loud. "Kid, you better kneel on the ground and kowtow obediently. Apologize now and you will live. Otherwise, you will suffer a fate worse than death." Although you opened the demon god's tomb, it was mostly due to luck. If we were to compare strength, you are definitely not Brother Song Yao's opponent. It's too late to apologize now. You have to kneel down and apologize. Song Yao's voice was extremely cold because he was really angry. "Sigh, why are there always people who don't know what death is?" Lin Xian sighed. "I didn't want to make a move. But since you asked for it, don't blame me." Song Yao was so angry that he was trembling. How dare Lin Xian look down on him? Unforgivable. He roared angrily and threw a punch at Yi Qingyu. There was a sharp light on his fist as he charged forward. Chapter 62-87. Song Yao could not believe what he had just experienced. Finally, he roared, "Kid, do you know who I am? My master is the nine-headed lion." "So what?" Lin Xian said indifferently, "Your master is not here. He has the right to block my path, but you don't have the right to do so." With that, Lin Xian no longer paid any attention to the other party and continued walking forward. No one dared to stop him. The surrounding beasts were dumbfounded. The other party did not put Song Yao in his eyes at all. Song Yao was so angry that he was trembling. "Damn it, I must take revenge for this. Just you wait." The killing intent on his body swept through the 9 heavens. The terrifying aura caused the heaven and earth to tremble. The surrounding beasts were trembling. They quickly walked over and said, "Brother Song Yao, this kid is too despicable. He actually dares to be disrespectful to you." "That's right, Brother Song Yao. Let Lord Nine-Headed Lion take action. He can definitely kill him with one slap." "Do you think I'm an idiot? Previously, you wanted to borrow my hand to kill this kid. Now, you want to see my master's hand. Do you really think that you are the only smart ones?" Song Yao was furious. With a roar, the surrounding beasts were struck by lightning. They retreated and vomited blood. "Brother Song Yao, please spare us. We won't dare to do it again." With a cold roar, Song Yao did not continue to attack. Now, he placed all his attention on Lin Xian. He wanted to think about how to kill him. The eighth heaven was very mysterious. As far as the eye could see, there were mountains tall and short, terrifying, mysterious, and bizarre. There were all sorts of things that one could imagine. These mountains formed a mountain range called the World Creation Mountain. A mountain was a world. No wonder it dared to call itself the World Creation Mountain. Lin Xian was also astonished. He had obtained some of this information from the heavenly cycle master. After seeing it, he was shocked. The mountain was no longer tall. It was famous with immortals. At this moment, there was more than one Earth immortal on the World Creation Mountain. That powerful aura was enough to suppress everything. Other than the Earth immortals, there were also countless followers. At this moment, these people were also watching curiously from the World Creation Mountain. Legend had it that there was a huge secret here. They did not know if they would be lucky enough to obtain it. Lin Xian's appearance stunned the people in front. They had 10 points of doubt. It was a very unfamiliar face. He didn't recognize it. However, for the other party to be able to come here, he was definitely not simple. Perhaps he was a subordinate of some Earth immortal. They did not make a move. There were even people who came over to chat with him. Lin Xian merely looked at the other party in silence and did not respond. The woman was stunned. Arrogant brat. Let's see how this sister will deal with you when I have the chance. The woman clenched her teeth. Her charm had actually failed. Damn it, it's you, Lin Gongzi. At this moment, a cry of surprise was heard. Lin Xian turned to look. Lei Xiao was standing in front of him. Mao Xia and the others. This was the Eagle God's subordinate. Previously, they had formed a team to attack the Fei God's tomb. So they knew each other. It was just that he didn't expect to see him again. Lin Gongzi, it really is you. Under the cat. And the others also walked over. They didn't expect to see each other here. They were indeed surprised. After all, they had all followed the land immortals here. Lin Xian was an intruder, without a land immortal behind him. How did he get here? Lei Xiao said, Lin Gongzi, I know you are here to look for the longevity fruit, but I can tell you that there is no longevity fruit in the 8th level of heaven. You should leave quickly. This place is very dangerous. I know that there is no longevity fruit here, and I am not here to look for the longevity fruit. There is danger everywhere. You don't have to worry about me. Lin Xian said with a smile. Brat, you actually dare to come. I advise you to get lost. Otherwise, when our giant elephant comes, you will be dead. Another woman spoke. This woman was wearing a blue dress. She was a water demon. His figure was erratic, and countless water droplets dripped from his body. Giant elephant. With just him, Lin Xian snorted coldly. You didn't even dare to attack me in the 3rd level of heaven, let alone the 8th level of heaven. Lin Xian's voice was not loud, but his tone was very arrogant. He did not put the land immortals in his eyes at all. This made the figures on the surrounding mountains. They were extremely shocked. Who is this kid? How dare he provoke the land immortals? Which force is he from? Are you courting death? The water demon was furious. Lin Xian glanced at him, and a biting cold sword intent burst out from his eyes. Suddenly, the water demon's body trembled. He actually had a fatal feeling. He wanted to roar, but he couldn't say anything. Damn it, why? The other party is just a great emperor. Why should I be afraid of him? The water demon was shocked. Who is the one who dares to provoke me? At this moment, a loud voice came from afar, as if a heavenly god was roaring. Suddenly, a large crack spread from afar. Everyone's scalps went numb with fear. This is the aura of a land immortal. A land immortal has arrived. The water demon trembled with excitement. Great, it's the giant elephant. Brat, you are dead. Greetings, giant elephant. A tall figure walked over from afar. He seemed to have endless power. It was the giant elephant. After arriving, he stared ahead. When he saw Lin Xian, he was stunned. Then, his face turned completely gloomy. It's you. He gritted his teeth and said, to be honest, he didn't care about ordinary great emperors at all. He wouldn't even remember them. However, the brat in front of him was an exception. The other party was a young great emperor, but he dared to threaten him. However, the other party was an intruder. He had left last time, and it would be difficult to see him again in this lifetime. However, he didn't expect to meet him again in the 8th layer of heaven. This was a good opportunity to kill him. Killing intent emerged in the giant elephant's heart, but he didn't immediately make a move. He knew that the other party had the immortal fire. Last time, he was so embarrassed because he was frightened by this fire. Now, did the other party still have the immortal fire? He had to find a way to investigate first. At the same time, he was even more shocked that the other party had come to the 8th layer of heaven in such a short time. This speed was too fast, so fast that it was unbelievable. The giant elephant in front fell silent, but the power on his body was getting more and more terrifying. As if black clouds were pressing down on the city, everyone's body trembled. At this moment, Lin Xian smiled. So it's you, it's really been a long time. Facing a land immortal, he didn't feel the slightest pressure. How dare you? Brat, you are too arrogant. You don't even kneel when you see a land immortal. The water demon next to him shouted angrily. With the giant elephant here, he wasn't worried or afraid. Who would dare to make a move? Puff! A ray of light flashed between heaven and earth, and a sword chi directly slashed at the water demon. With a puff, the water demon was split in half. His body fell from the sky. The water demon was stunned. Someone dares to make a move. How dare you make a move in front of the giant elephant? Who is it? Are you courting death? Chapter 62:88. The water demon screamed in the air. Looking at this scene, everyone was terrified. This guy dared to attack in front of an earth immortal. It was unbelievable. What was even more frightening was that the giant elephant didn't attack or even blame him. Could it be that the giant elephant was afraid of him? What kind of trump card did this kid have? He could make an earth immortal afraid. Lin Xian smiled and retracted his hand. He said lightly, "Giant elephant, your subordinate is too presumptuous. I'll teach him a lesson." No problem, right? The giant elephant snorted and didn't say anything. He suspected that the other party still had the immortal fire. Otherwise, why would he dare to be arrogant in front of him? When the others looked at Lin Xian, they were terrified. They didn't dare to challenge this person anymore. These young people were killing gods. They killed without a word. However, the other party succeeded. He didn't take the earth immortal seriously at all. What's the matter? A cold voice came from the tall mountain in the distance. Then a few figures arrived. The surrounding people all knelt down and bowed. Only Lin Xian stood in the air with his hands behind his back. How dare he, a mere great emperor, not bow to the earth immortals when he saw them? The two figures that came were Eagle God and the nine-headed lion. Their terrifying auras filled the air. When they arrived nearby and saw that it was Lin Xian, they were also stunned. "It's you," Eagle God exclaimed. The nine-headed lion's eyes flickered. No wonder the other party didn't bow. He knew this young man. He was very arrogant. "Why are you here? There are no longevity fruits here. Leave." The nine-headed lion didn't attack. However, a young man next to him said, "Master, you can't spare him. He's too arrogant." The one who spoke was Song Yao. He had been defeated by Lin Xian, so he desperately hoped that his master would attack. The nine-headed lion glanced at him. Although he didn't say anything, his eyes were cold. Song Yao didn't dare to speak. He knew that his master was blaming him for his incompetence. Indeed, he was the disciple of an earth immortal. He had the strength of a great emperor and many trump cards. However, he couldn't do anything to a young man of a lower realm. If word got out, it would be too embarrassing. One of the heads of the nine-headed lion turned around and looked at Lin Xian again. "Young man, on account of your meritorious service in opening the ancient tomb, everything that happened before will be written off. I won't hold it against you. You may leave. There is nothing here that you intruders want." Lin Xian smiled. "Thank you for your kindness, senior. However, I'm not here for the longevity fruit. Instead, he came for the clues of the immortal order." As soon as he said that, the nine-headed lion was stunned. All nine heads opened their eyes. Eagle God and Colossus sucked in a breath of cold air. "I came here with the permission of 3 land immortals." Lin Xian pointed at the 3 people behind them and said, "The 3 of them have agreed. What right do you have to object?" "You agreed." Violet Immortal was stunned. She looked ahead. The nine-headed lion and the other 2 arrived. They nodded and said, "That's right, we agreed to let him stay here." "Are you crazy?" Violet Immortal jumped up. Eagle God said, "He represents the 7th layer of heaven." "That's right, I represent the 7th layer of heaven." Lin Xian waved his hand and took out the flag. Then he boldly found a place and sat down. He said lightly, "Now let's see who dares to drive me away." The surroundings fell silent for a moment. No one spoke. The other party could hold this flag, which meant that he was qualified to come here. However, this kid was too arrogant. Everyone wanted to slap him to death. Let's talk about the big picture. How are we going to attack each other? Before we find any clues, let's work together. Okay. Violet Immortal nodded. The people from the 9th layer of heaven also walked over. They did not represent one land immortal. There were several land immortals in the 9th layer of heaven. Each land immortal sent a representative. At present, there were 3 forces. One of them was the mysterious woman in purple who was Violet Immortal's sister. He and Violet Immortal could be counted as one side. As for the nine-headed lion and his brothers, they were counted as one side. The dream god had not appeared yet. The other 2 land immortals of the 9th layer of heaven were temporarily working together. As for Lin Xian, of course, he would fight alone. Everyone stayed far away from him. Even if they allowed him to be here, they did not plan to work together with Lin Xian. The nine-headed lion said coldly, "Don't be like this. This kid is not ordinary. He can represent the 7th layer of heaven and prove his strength. And I heard that he has the power of immortality. It's best if we use his power to break through to immortality." That's right. The Colossus also said, "It's not too late to kill him after we find clues." The people from the 9th layer of heaven nodded. Violet Immortal did not say anything. He glanced at them with a strange expression. He found an opportunity to send a voice transmission to the giant elephant and said a few words. The Colossus was stunned. Then he said, "That's not my weapon. It's Lin Xian, that kid. I gave him a weapon before. He's framing me." It turned out that Violet Immortal transmitted a message to the Colossus. He said that he found a weapon in the ruins of the 7th layer of Heaven Array sect. After the Colossus heard it, he immediately denied it. Violet Immortal said, We don't need to know who you gave the weapon to. We just need to know that your information is on it. You know, with the fragments of the weapon, my sister will have an excuse to cross worlds and fight. If she wants to attack you, can you resist? The Colossus's face darkened. He gritted his teeth and said, "What do you want?" Violet Immortal smiled. "Of course, we want to work together. My sister wants to work with you." The Colossus was silent for a while. Then he transmitted a message. "Okay, but we can only work together secretly. I don't want to fall out with my brother now." "No problem." Violet Immortal smiled. "Happy cooperation." Next, the Land Immortals worked together and used their divine fire to condense a huge mirror. This mirror turned into the Sky Mirror. It covered the whole sky and flew toward the World Creation Mountain. What were they looking for? This place was very suspicious. The Sky Mirror condensed a light beam and hit a mountain in the distance. That place was very far away. Looking from the mountain where they were sitting, they could only see a light spot. "Go and check it out. We won't let go of any possibility," the nine-headed lion said. The others nodded. They were ready to send their subordinates to check it out together. The World Creation Mountain hid a secret. This secret was the clue to the immortal token, and the so-called immortal was to find this clue. Once they found it, they would have a great chance to get the immortal token and leave the immortal city. Violet Immortal looked at Lin Xian and said lightly, "Lin Gongzi, you are powerful. Why don't you come with us this time? After all, we are now an alliance. Yes, if you want to work with us, you have to listen to us." The Colossus also snorted coldly. Countless pairs of eyes glanced toward Lin Xian. Chapter 6290. "Sure, no problem." Lin Xian laughed. "So, straightforward?" This made Purple Immortal and the giant statue stunned. Could this kid be plotting something? However, they soon laughed. They were really thinking too much. He was just an ant. Even if he had a plot, so what? They were here, and there were several kinds of Earth Immortals. Could it be that they would be fooled by the other party? In the face of absolute strength, all schemes were futile. So, what if the other party represented the seventh heaven? Even the heavenly cycle master, at his peak, would not be able to fight against several Earth Immortals alone. Therefore, they were thinking too much. In that case, let's go. Go and come back quickly. Don't waste time. Several Earth Immortals ordered. Immediately, a few figures flew out from under them. They formed a team of more than 10 people. Lin Xian also followed. This team flew towards the distant light spot. As for the other Earth Immortals, they were not idle either. They were looking for the next possible place. The eighth heaven was too big, and the World Creation Mountain was extremely mysterious. It was impossible for them to find it in one go. They would probably have to search for a while. The Water Demon was also in this team. They looked at Lin Xian and gritted their teeth. They were wondering if they should join forces with more than 10 great emperors to attack the other party together, see if they could do anything to the other party. After thinking about it, they were not confident. Moreover, this time it was an order from the Earth Immortals. They did not dare to delay. However, no one would approach Lin Xian. Along the way, Lin Xian was also extremely silent. In his mind, he was perfecting the plan. That's right, it was indeed a plan. This time, Lin Xian and the Immortal Hand had joined forces to set up a plan to defeat these Earth Immortals. Moreover, the Immortal Hand promised that as long as Lin Xian did this, he would give Lin Xian clues about the immortal token. Lin Xian agreed decisively. Most of these Earth Immortals had enmity with him and would not let him go. It was better to cooperate and injure these Earth Immortals. This was killing two birds with one stone. Finally, they arrived at the place where the light spot was. From afar, it looked like a dot of light. But now, it covered hundreds of mountains. They had to search carefully. When all of the mountains had been collected, they sighed, "There are no clues. This place is fake." At this moment, another light spot descended from the sky, and the land immortal's voice sounded, "Go here." Soon they set off again. However, after the third time, these people were in despair. There were no clues at all. "Come back and rest. Let's change the team." The nine-headed lion spoke. Everyone returned to rest. However, Lin Xian said, "I'll go again. I didn't use much energy." He was very proactive, which made the nine-headed lion, purple deity, and the others frown slightly. There was definitely something wrong with this kid. They secretly instructed their subordinates, "Be careful and be on guard at the same time. Don't get tricked by the other party." The great emperors under him nodded. Along the way, they were on guard against Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian had no intention of harming them. Instead, he personally inspected every mountain peak. It was as if he would not let go of any clues. When he returned for the fourth time, his subordinates told the nine-headed lion and the other land immortals about this news. This made the land immortals very surprised. Could it be that this kid had no ulterior motives? Eagle deity said, "Maybe he just wants to find clues." Purple deity said, "That's true. When he came to the sixth heaven, he asked me for clues about the immortal token. At that time, I thought this kid was an idiot. Now, it seems that he really has an idea about the immortal token. No wonder he's so proactive. However, this is also good. Let him be the vanguard. Anyway, if he finds it, it will be ours sooner or later." The land immortals all laughed. On the fifth trip, Lin Xian still participated. This time, they encountered danger. A formation appeared. The terrifying Great Formation enveloped heaven and earth, losing its effectiveness. The places it touched were all affected. Break out of the encirclement. With a roar, they all counterattacked. The formation flickered, and terrifying ice and snow rushed over. The vast ice wanted to freeze everyone. "Get lost!" Lin Xian roared. The water and fire on his body seemed to have turned into a fire god. He began to melt the ice and snow. He said, "Let's go." Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to help them. However, they didn't hesitate at all. They didn't even want to help Lin Xian. They quickly rushed over. Soon, only Lin Xian was left in the formation. Lin Xian roared angrily. His golden right hand slapped out, forming a monstrous divine flame that directly shattered the ice and snow in the sky. Heaven and earth broke open, and Lin Xian rushed out. The people outside were terrified. This guy was so strong. Even the water demon's face was ugly. Previously, Lin Xian had seriously injured him with one sword strike. But later, the land immortals helped him recover. Previously, he gnashed his teeth at Lin Xian. But this time, Lin Xian saved his life. It felt so unreal. Seeing Lin Xian come out, the water demon gritted his teeth and said, "Kid, don't expect me to thank you. That's right, we won't let you go." The other demonic beasts also gnashed their teeth. The people of the ninth heaven were even more murderous. Lin Xian said, "You think too much. I let you live so that you can find clues to improve efficiency. I only have one goal, and that is the clue of the immortal token. Damn it, what an arrogant kid." They gnashed their teeth. They continued to search. Following that, they encountered more dangers, terrifying formations, and even terrifying puppets. That puppet was very powerful and chased them all the way. Fortunately, Lin Xian was extremely powerful and restrained the puppet, allowing them to escape. However, this time, Lin Xian seemed to be injured and a crack appeared on his body. The other few people frowned. This time, they didn't mock and ridicule him. Lin Xian still didn't stand with these people. Instead, he sat alone and healed his wounds. He thought to himself, "It's not easy to act. If I don't pay a price and act realistically, how can these people believe it?" That's right, everything was an act. These were all arranged. Lin Xian had the aura of the immortal hand. To be honest, he wouldn't be in any danger in the entire eighth heaven. However, in order to act realistically, he would rather be injured himself. After all, he had to deceive several land immortals. Next, he had to continue acting. They continued to search. When they reached the 13th possible location, they found that there was no way they could find it. Everyone was in danger. This time, the danger was 10% terrifying. The mountain peak cracked, and they were directly pushed in. Countless divine and immortal powers appeared around them. It was extremely terrifying. These great emperors were desperate. "Are we going to die?" Lin Xian said. "Don't worry, this place is so magical. Maybe there is something we want. Go and look for it." Lin Xian shouted angrily, pushing the golden right hand and blasting in all directions. Soon, a large number of mountain peaks cracked, and some light shone out from the cracks. Lin Xian exclaimed, "There is a treasure." Everyone turned their heads to look. In the next moment, their eyes almost popped out. They saw that there was a sky full of treasures around them, piled up into a mountain. As Lin Xian dodged the attacks of the array, he pointed at the water demon and said, "This is divine power, the power of a land immortal. You can't break it, and neither can I. Only by inviting an earth immortal can we break it." What? How could this be? The water demon and the others were in despair. Should we call the land immortals over? In that case, they wouldn't be able to obtain any treasures. Don't be greedy. Do you want to monopolize all the treasures here? The land immortals will tear you to pieces. Do you think they don't know anything? Hurry up and call the land immortal. Why don't you go? They stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "Do they listen to me? You are their subordinates. If you don't leave now, you will all die here." As if confirming Lin Xian's words, the surrounding array suddenly became terrifying. The water demon and the others were sent flying and vomited blood. The divine fire and immortal energy on their bodies dimmed. This kid was right. There was divine power on it, so no one could open it. Let's go and invite the land immortals. Some great emperors decisively tore open the void and dodged. They rushed out. If they went to report now, it would definitely be a great merit. Even if they couldn't obtain these treasures, they would still obtain other benefits. If they were any later, it would be too late. Lin Xian's lips curled up into a smile as he watched the fleeing figures. His target wasn't these great emperors. His target was the land immortals. Next, when the land immortals entered the game, it would be the real counterattack. On the largest mountain peak, the land immortals controlled the heaven mirror and continued to search. They were very patient. They had been in a mortal city for millions of years. They didn't care about these few months at all. At this moment, a few figures flew over from afar. They were injured and in an extremely sorry state. "What's going on?" Purple Immortal frowned. "Why are you so injured? Did that Lin Xian make a move? Damn it, I knew he didn't have good intentions." The Colossus also roared. However, the water demon and the others said, "It's not him. It's not Lin Xian who made a move on us. We found treasures." They quickly told him what had happened. When they heard that there were thousands of treasures scattered all over the ground, like stones, the land immortals were stunned. The land immortals were also stunned. "Are you sure?" "Yes." The water demon nodded and said, "At that time, Lin Xian made a move immediately after seeing the treasures. However, he didn't succeed. He was bounced back. Later, we found that there was a terrifying divine power on it. It was the power of a land immortal. That kid couldn't open it. Did you try? The nine-headed lion asked. The water demon trembled and quickly lowered his head. In order to prevent that kid from lying, we also tried. Of course, he didn't dare to say that they were jealous and wanted to snatch the treasures. Chapter 6292. That kid doesn't have the immortal fire. That's great. When the time comes, we can attack without any hesitation. Zhu Xiang smiled cruelly. As long as they found clues about the immortal token, they would attack immediately. What are we waiting for? Let's act immediately. It's just a treasure. It's not what we want. There's no need to send everyone. Nine-headed lion was still very calm. He had 9 heads and was very intelligent. He said, just send some people. The rest will continue to look for clues about the immortal token. Don't forget, no matter how much you get, it's useless if you can't get out. How about I go? Zhu Xiang was tempted. He glanced at Violet Deity. Violet Deity nodded. She also wanted to go. At this time, they could work together. However, Nine-Headed Lion persuaded, don't go. Let Third go. He's fast and has some friendship with that kid. Third, you go. I'll go too. I don't feel safe going alone. Violet Deity stood out. He couldn't give up such a good opportunity. We'll also send some people to Ninth Heaven. The people of the other 2 factions said in a deep voice. They had also sent 2 super great emperors. Okay, come back quickly. I'll only give you 1 day. Don't delay the search for clues about the immortal token. Nine-Headed Lion said coldly, don't worry, big brother. We'll be back soon. Eagle Deity had black wings on his back. He was extremely fast. Violet Immortal wielded a purple longsword, slicing through the void. Watching the 2 leave, Zhu Xiang was envious. Don't worry. They won't dare to take the treasure alone. Nine-Headed Lion said coldly. Zhu Xiang's body shook. Then he laughed. Of course. Who dares to go against Big Brother? As long as the 9th Heaven's Earth Immortal doesn't come, no one is Big Brother's opponent. What he said was not wrong. The Nine-Headed Lion was the strongest among these people. Water Demon and the others returned to the Broken Mountain. At this moment, Lin Xian was injured. The other great emperors were even worse. Some were split open, some were torn apart. Their blood dyed the sky. Boom! Violet Deity arrived and saw this scene. She slashed down with her sword. The purple sword energy cut through the sky and split the array in half. Great, we're saved. The great emperors inside were in despair. But now they cheered. With the help of the land immortals, they were safe. Lin Xian raised his head as well. His face was pale, and he looked extremely weak. He looked up at the sky. He saw Eagle God and Violet Immortal. Are there only 2 land immortals? He was really cautious. However, if there were 2 of them, so be it. Let's start with an appetizer. Then, we'll deal with them slowly. In the end, we'll get rid of them all in one fell swoop. You're finally here. If you didn't come, all of your subordinates would have died. Lin Xian pretended to be very angry and snorted coldly. Eagle Deity glanced at him, but didn't say anything. The Purple Deity laughed. On the other side, Sangya snorted coldly. Impossible. The land immortals won't give him a chance. Just as he finished speaking, a rumbling sound came from below. Then, Violet Immortal was terrified. What's that? Get lost. Eagle Deity also roared, angrily. With a roar, a pair of huge wings covered the sky and the earth. Then, he tore open the void and tried to escape. However, he couldn't escape at all. a huge hand appeared and directly enveloped the two land immortals. Then, the treasures piled up into a mountain below also erupted with divine power. A terrifying deep pit instantly covered the sky and the earth. Is such a powerful thing a trap? The two land immortals attacked crazily. Immortal power, they exclaimed. However, it was useless to say anything. The immortal hand directly suppressed the two land immortals under the ground. What happened? An earth-shattering power came from below. All the great emperors were terrified. They fled frantically. When they reached a safe place, they looked at each other in dismay. What happened just now? I heard the land immortals screaming. Could it be a trap? Damn it, did Lin Wudy make a move? Impossible. He doesn't have that ability. Damn it, this place is so strange. Countless voices of exclamation and discussion sounded. At this moment, Lin Xian flew back from afar. His body was even more broken, and the array around him was also broken. Blood dyed his body red. I was scared to death. If it weren't for the array, I would have died. It's too terrifying. The two land immortals were captured. Lin Xian said as he flew. Chapter 6293. Lin Xian didn't die. He was still alive. When the people in the distance saw this scene, they all went crazy. They even rushed over and roared, "Where are our land immortals? Where are they?" They had heard purple immortals roar before. Lin Xian sighed and said, "Sigh, the two seniors were enveloped by a mysterious hand. Do you know how terrifying that hand is? It made one's hair stand on end. What's the situation now? I don't know either. Mysterious hand? How could this be? These great emperors were all crazy." Someone stared at Lin Xian and said, "You're the one behind this. You're framing us." "That's right, capture him and take his soul." Immediately, several great emperors attacked Lin Xian. Boom! Lin Xian struck out with his golden right hand. At the same time, his sword energy soared into the sky and repelled these great emperors. He gritted his teeth and said, "Although I'm injured, I'm not someone you can challenge." Also, how powerful are the land immortals? Do you think I can frame them? In the face of absolute strength, everything is in vain. Don't you have any brains? As he spoke, Lin Xian spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. His aura became even weaker. We can't even defeat the other party who spat out blood. The great emperors' faces were full of frustration. At the same time, they began to think carefully. Indeed, it was possible to trap one land immortal, but it was absolutely impossible to trap two land immortals. What about Eagle God? Eagle God's speed was extremely fast. Could it be that he didn't dodge? Lin Xian shook his head silently and said, "I think the two seniors were temporarily trapped and didn't die. After all, you know how powerful the land immortals are. However, it's impossible for them to come out by themselves. It seems that we can only ask the other land immortals to help us outside." That's right, there were still two land immortals. At this moment, the great emperors under him hurriedly returned. On the huge mountain peak, Giant Elephant, Nine-Headed Lion, and a few others were stunned when they heard the news. The two land immortals had disappeared. They were trapped. What kind of array? To be able to trap a land immortal? Their first thought was that this was Lin Xian's scheme. However, they soon found it laughable. It was one thing for an ant to be able to threaten them with the undying flame. Now that they had set up such a trap, it was impossible for them to jump into it. It was impossible, even if she was beaten to death. This kid didn't have that kind of ability. What do you think? The Nine-Headed Lion looked at the Giant Elephant and the people of the ninth heaven. The Giant Elephant said, "Third brother's speed is so fast, but he still hasn't come out. You can imagine how terrifying that mysterious hand is. The super great emperors of the nine heavens also said, "Seniors, that place was detected by our sky mirror. It's one of the possibilities." The Colossus also said, "How do we divide? It's not up to you to think. Anyway, you don't have a share." They didn't have the slightest bit of doubt, because Lin Xian's performance was just too normal. The nine-headed lion looked at Shi Zhong and said, "Let's think about how to break the array first." Previously, there had already been such a terrifying immortal hand. Around this clue, there should be even more terrifying formations. Yes, that's right. Eagle Deity also nodded. Several super great emperors of the ninth heaven also took a deep breath. It really appeared. Then they could summon their master. Thinking of this, they quietly put their hands into the storage ring and prepared to crush the teleportation array. At this time, a few black heads suddenly appeared above their heads. In an instant, they were suppressed. The figures of the martial monarchs of the ninth heaven stiffened. "Senior Lion King, why did you attack us? We represent the ninth heaven." The nine-headed lion snorted coldly. "Don't worry, I won't kill you. But before that, if any one of you dares to move a finger, I'll let him know the fate of living a life worse than death." How could the nine-headed lion not know these people's little tricks? They wanted to summon the land immortals of the ninth heaven to come and snatch the treasure from them. Don't even think about it. Since those land immortals didn't come before, there was no need for them to come now. Violet Immortal also frowned slightly. To be honest, at that moment, he also wanted to summon his sister. But now it seemed that he should wait a little longer and see if this array could be broken. "Let's kill this kid first." When he looked at Lin Xian, a cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. The Colossus also turned its head, raised its foot, and was about to land. Lin Xian said, "Don't. We haven't got the key yet. If you kill me, the immortal information here will instantly explode. After all, you are breaking the rules now. Anyway, I can't run away. Why don't I wait until you have the key in your hands? It won't be too late to make a move on me then. Kid, you still have fantasies. Do you really think you can use it in the end? It's ridiculous." "Not necessarily." Lin Xian held the guarding chess piece in his hand and said, "If you want to make a move, you have to bear the consequences. Break the array first. Don't bother with this kid anymore." The nine-headed lion walked over. The four land immortals began to search, and an overwhelming power erupted. Everyone retreated into the distance. Lin Xian also retreated. However, at this time, one of the nine-headed lions' heads directly covered him and brought him to his side. At the same time, a cold voice sounded. "You are not allowed to go anywhere. Just stay under my nose. If you dare to do anything, I will kill you immediately. You understand?" "Damn it." Lin Xian gritted his teeth, showing a trace of unhappiness. The nine-headed lion laughed heartily. Right now, everything was under his control. He couldn't come to the people of the ninth level of heaven. As for this purple immortal, there was nothing to be afraid of. He even knew that purple immortal and the concrete elephant had joined hands. But so what? He had a way to dissolve the alliance between the two. Of course, he didn't break it now, because this array was extremely terrifying, and the four of them had to go all out. Boom! The Colossus's foot struck forward, and suddenly the sky fell and the earth cracked. However, the array in front of them didn't move at all. They couldn't get close to the ancient altar at all. The immortal runes on the altar seemed to have awakened. They spun quickly, emitting a mysterious aura. So terrifying. The Colossus's arm trembled, but he was even more excited. The Colossus said, "This array is much more difficult than the previous one." Purple Immortal also shouted angrily and slashed out with her sword. Boom! Boom! The battle had completely erupted. At this time, a piercing light suddenly erupted from the immortal altar. Then, the array turned into a peerless killing intent that swept in all directions. Run! The surrounding great emperors fled crazily. Some of them were directly cut in half, and their blood stained the ground red. Run far away! These people moved quickly, and they also retreated. However, at this time, a ray of array light directly pierced through Song Yao's body. No, he let out a miserable cry and wanted to resist, but it was too late. In an instant, his body and soul were destroyed. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.